Hello, fashion friends and family. This is Stacy from the Fashion Heritage and Needle Trade Show. Laura Hart has joined us today because I received a wonderful email from our newsletter, and she was just expressing how she's begun this sewing journey, and there's elements of weaving, so I incorporated into that. So I'd love to learn more about how she kind of got started. So I invited her for this call. I'd love for everyone else to join in and listen into this exciting story. So Laura, can you tell us a little bit about how you kind of, a little bit of your background and how you got started in this, I guess, fashion and sewing journey?
Okay. I'll start by saying when I was 20, I became a school teacher. And then the last 17 years of my work life, I worked as a school principal. Um, However, way back in the history of my life, when I was growing up and in school, we were not a wealthy family, to say the least, and I worked in a sewing factory at night, um, all through school. And then in the summer, before I went to college, I worked in a sewing factory also. And I lasted 2 days in that particular sewing factory. It was sewing bras and girdles, and it was really difficult. And they were yelling at us, and I was making mistakes. And I got up and I said, I'm done. That's it. I'm going to college. I will never do this again. And I left. And so it's funny because when I retired, um, I during COVID, I was given a loom, and it was a big floor loom, and I had no idea what to do with it. So I purchased a book and called Weaving, and I taught myself to weave. And that was the beginning of this journey that might have began way back in high school. And I turned 80 in December, and I feel like this is my journey now, sewing and weaving.
Oh, it's exciting how sometimes we have these impressions in our life with experiences, but we don't realize, that they come back to us. They find a way that finds some sort of full circle. Something to note about my journey is that I returned to Baltimore after being away for so long, and I landed in my childhood backyard. The work that we did was literally in that red brick building behind my house. And so I don't know. I think that there's a beautiful serendipity that we don't even know is actually happening. And so I wonder, what are you looking to achieve with this, the weaving, and then where does the sewing piece come into it?
Okay, I taught myself to weave and I wove, I think, some beautiful garments. Recently, I wove this. It's a shawl I made for our Italian journey. And I've made other things like this scarf.
It's
And
beautiful.
thanks, it's real soft. It feels great. And I made this, which is like a sampler of different
Wow.
stitches. And after I don't know, I was exposed to somebody who was making, oh, I know, in my Weavers Guild, I was exposed to a woman who was making fabric for sewing. And I always wanted to do that. I thought, oh my gosh, how great it would be to wear my weaving. So I started on this journey of trying to learn how to make fabric and then make a garment out of it. This I would like to make into a skirt. I think it would
Amazing.
be a pretty skirt. But anyway, I even saw some a person wearing a very sheer, not transparent, but soft, very feminine white blouse that was woven with her own weaving machine. And then she sewed it into a blouse. So that's what I'm trying, that's my ultimate goal, to wear things that I've made.
Now is the well, I'm so impressed. I can't believe that you made those. How long did it take you from point of acquiring this floor loom to reading the books to then practicing to then feel confident enough to make these pieces and approximately for some of those, how long did it take you from start to finish?
Um, I was trying to remember when COVID was, because during COVID I was in my home. We hardly went anywhere, as was the case with everybody. So I wove a lot, and a friend. I eventually joined a guild when after COVID, and I was comparing what other people made. There were weavers from kindergarten. I didn't start this until many years after my retirement. So I just practiced. And I remember when I made this shawl, the whole point was to have something warm and beautiful in on my nights in Italy. And probably from start to finish, um, and I don't know how much time it took, but I would say it took me a few weeks
Mhm.
to finish it. But like I have tea towels on, I bought another loom since then, and I have tea towels on that loom, but it's very utilitarian because my sister wants some more tea towels. I've given her three or four, and she likes them the best of all her tea towels. So she also cuts my hair and fixes it and never charges me. So I repay her with woven goods. So what I have on my loom now are tea towels. And I went to an art club the other day and I was so inspired by the artist who spoke. And he was speaking about the definition of art. And I came home inspired to throw some new things into my tea towels, some new ideas.
I believe, that and because I studied fashion entrepreneurship innovation and I am an entrepreneur, I'm always sort of, oh my gosh, you can sell these. Oh, you can create a lifestyle brand. Oh, you can build a business around this. But truly, the work that I'm seeing there, the color selection, the quality of the work. But I'm excited also to see those translated into garments. So what type, you said a skirt for that one. What about the other pieces are you thinking of?
I hope this to be the lining.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be, I think this is so beautiful. It's silk.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be the main part of the jacket. And then I wove this after I was weaving my uh, shawl, I wove this and this. And I haven't ironed this yet. I haven't really finished the finishing of this, but I'm going to use a combination of these two as the sleeves, I believe. And then I bought this also, but I'm not sure how I'm going to fit that into it, but I love it. It's silk and it's beautiful. But I made three sample jackets, one out of paper, and to see if I could even fit or if it would fit me. And then I made one out of a pink fabric, and then I made my last one out of black, and I wore it one day to church. And I got all kinds of compliments, but it was just black polyester, very inexpensive. And I got so many compliments, I thought, wow, I must be on the right road. So that's the jacket I intend to make this out of. So I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to try.
You can do it. We're cheering you on, Laura. You got to do it. I mean, they're already so beautiful from what you've woven. But I'd like to ask you, for those that are watching who are curious, quite excited, but also inspired, but yet for themselves, they're holding back. What advice would you give them to even just get started?
Um, Well, I've always been a doer all my life. Um, I would say just start anything that is a little bit interesting. When my girlfriend gave me the loom, I was like, gosh, I have no idea what to do with it. But learning is life to me. And so I would say just get started on anything that you have the slightest interest in, and it will lead to other things. It's like when you're climbing a mountain, you cannot see what's before you until you get to the crest. And when you get up there, you see a whole lot more than you could see on the way up. So that's what I would say. Just start on anything that you're interested in.
Oh, I love that. I would nudge you to consider a fashion design perspective. I really think that you have something there with what you're doing, not from a mass production perspective, but that's why we call this the Fashion Heritage Needle Trade Show, because there's this space where we blur the lines between art, craft, and also just heritage, things that we enjoy. So you never know. I would encourage you to look create design boards. Have you ever done a design board, a mood board?
No, I've never even heard of that.
Well, fashion school teaches you systems to brainstorm design and then apply that knowledge into a strategy that sounds scary, but really, if you can take little swatches of these, I mean, maybe don't cut the ones you have, but if you have little pieces, you could put them onto a board and then you can put them together and even if you can't really illustrate, you can get a croquis, which is an outline of a form, so you can trace over that. And then using tracing paper, they have ones that you can print out online. I'm happy to email you one as well. And then you can start just kind of drawing. And I know some people say, I can't draw, but really what you're doing is sort of just trying to get your idea out of your head and trying to and then you can use coloring pencil or marker, however you like, but I think coloring pencil is nice to kind of simulate your weave textile as to how you would place it. And the nice thing with tracing paper is that when you place it over the outline of that form, it can allow you to iterate, right? Then you can move that away and say, okay, I'll think about it like this, and then you put the next tracing paper over, and then you can try another look where maybe you put that textile on the top, and you wanted to try to do a different flow on a sleeve or something like that. So um, I have a feeling you have a calling to do this work, and I think that's also why you've accelerated pretty quickly because you're really interested in it, your heart's in it. But I think some of those fashion school strategies could help you a little bit, and I'll make sure to send those over to you.
Okay, I'd love to look at it.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this Fashion Heritage Needle Trade Show. And thank you so much, Laura, for being here and sharing your new journey with us, which, we hope to follow up and see how it goes. All right.
Thank you so much, Stacy, for encouraging me. And you did it another way too. I wrote down what your daily to do is in the morning. You said rise, journal, meditate. So I may have changed it from what you have, but I have rise, journal, meditate, weave, or sew.
Oh, I love that. I need to add the sewing piece to mine. Oh, I love
Thank you
that.
so much for that.
Yeah. Oh, well, you'll have to keep us posted and send some of the pictures. We'll add it to our newsletter as to how you're coming along. And I would love if you could lay some of those textiles out and take some pictures. We'd love to share some more closer views on it. And if you have images of the loom, I mean, I love those beautiful tools that we have. So yeah, that'd be great.
Sure, I'll be glad to send some to you.
Okay, thanks. Goodbye,
Okay,
everybody. Thank you.
bye.